Muy buenas tardes, señoras y señores. Como en cada emisión les digo, es un gusto y un placer poder saludarlos, poder darles la bienvenida a este espacio que, como siempre, nos permite estar un poquito más cerca de todos ustedes. Mi nombre es Verónica de León Regil y les doy la más cordial bienvenida a una edición más que especial de invitados. Y es que, como siempre les digo, vivimos en tiempos de transformación constante, vivimos en tiempos en donde tenemos que estar actualizándonos y viendo de qué manera está dando vueltas el mundo y para qué lado está dando vueltas el mundo. Hablamos de líderes, hablamos de colaboradores, hablamos de organizaciones que están enfrentando hasta cierto punto cierta incertidumbre, están enfrentando disrupción, están enfrentando cambios acelerados en este mundo. Y si hablamos de este contexto, surgen diferentes preguntas, pero hay una que es fundamental y una que se repite y que debemos plantearnos y replantearnos todos los días de este cambio. ¿Cómo podemos liderar con confianza en medio de tanta transformación y algo que necesitamos los seres humanos por naturaleza, ese liderazgo? Sin duda alguna, la tecnología y la inteligencia artificial están redefiniendo la manera en que trabajamos y esto nos plantea diferentes interrogantes clave, como por ejemplo, ¿cuál es el papel que juega el liderazgo frente a la tecnología? Porque ahora que viene toda esta revolución de la inteligencia artificial, ¿podrá llegar a ser reemplazada por algunas funciones de inteligencia artificial como lo están siendo otras? ¿El liderazgo puede llegar a convertirse en una de estas funciones que puede suplantar la inteligencia artificial? Son algunas de las preguntas que surgen y cada vez se replantean más en diferentes ámbitos. Y hoy vamos a tener el privilegio de explorar estas preguntas con uno de los grandes. Y estoy segura de que en el momento que yo mencione este nombre, todos ustedes dirán, wow, hoy sí estamos hablando y vamos a obtener respuestas de uno de los grandes líderes mundiales del liderazgo. Nada más y nada menos que Stephen Covey estará acompañándonos hoy, un referente mundial en liderazgo que nos va a ayudar a entender las habilidades y las actitudes más importantes que un líder debe fortalecer hoy en día. Y por otro lado, ¿qué es lo que constituye la base sólida que da consistencia a las organizaciones en tiempos de cambio? Así que, sin duda alguna, esta es una oportunidad para que podamos descubrir cómo liderar con claridad, con propósito, cómo liderar con confianza e incluso en medio de la incertidumbre. Ahora que ya les dije quién nos va a estar acompañando, esperamos, por supuesto, su interacción. En este momento ustedes pueden ir dejando sus comentarios, sus mensajes, independientemente de cuál sea la red social en la que nos estén viendo. Y, por supuesto, también pueden compartir esta transmisión, porque esto lo tenemos que escuchar todos, no importa cuál sea el ámbito en el que nos estemos desenvolviendo. Somos empresarios, no somos empresarios. El tema del liderazgo nos involucra a todos y todos debemos saber y conocer estas estrategias de liderazgo para aplicarlo en las diferentes facetas de nuestra vida. Así que a compartir esta transmisión, puede mandarla por WhatsApp a todos sus contactos, en Facebook, en cualquier red social. La idea es que pueda llegar esta transmisión cada vez a muchos más porque tenemos invitado de lujo, de talla mundial esta tarde-noche en Invitados. Así que, señoras y señores, voy a proceder a presentar, aunque no necesita mucha presentación, pero sí, por supuesto que tenemos que hablar de todo lo que ha logrado nuestro invitado de lujo que tendremos esta tarde. Stephen M.R. Covey es autor de bestsellers internacionales como La velocidad de la confianza, un bestseller traducido a 26 idiomas y con más de 2 millones de copias vendidas. Y su más reciente obra, Confiar e Inspirar, cómo los grandes líderes liberan la grandeza en los demás, nombrado recientemente el libro de liderazgo número 1 del año. Estamos hablando de un personaje que fue expresidente y CEO de Covey Leadership Center. Stephen logró aumentar el valor para los accionistas 67 veces y convertir la empresa en la firma de desarrollo del liderazgo más grande del mundo. Es cofundador y actualmente dirige la práctica global de la velocidad de confianza de Franklin Covey. Tiene un MBA de Harvard. Stephen forma parte de diferentes juntas directivas, incluido el Consejo Asesor de Liderazgo Gubernamental, y ha sido reconocido como líder de pensamiento en confianza a nivel nacional e internacional. Como orador internacional, en definitiva, ha enseñado Confianza ha enseñado liderazgo en más de 61 países y también a organizaciones empresariales gubernamentales, militares, educativas, sanitarias y sin fines de lucro. Así que, señoras y señores, esto es tan solo un resumen y ya con esto, en definitiva, sabemos que nuestro invitado es de lujo. Es un verdadero honor tener en este espacio a Stephen M.R. Covey, a quien recibimos con mucho cariño y con mucha admiración. Welcome, Stephen. What an honor to have you with us on this special broadcast. How are you?
Hi, Veronica. I am doing wonderful, and I'm truly honored to be here with you for this special broadcast and to talk about leadership in our world today. So very excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And we know that you have been here in Guatemala and that you like our country. So we are so glad to introduce you through this broadcast to all our audience.
Wonderful. Yes. I've been 2 times to Guatemala, and I'll be coming shortly, and it'll be my 3rd visit, and it won't be my last because I'm going to keep coming and try to come back next time with my family.
Oh, that's so wonderful. You're always welcome here in our country, Stephen. And today's topic is leading with trust in an era of transformation. And we all know that leaders, workers, and organizations are right now facing uncertainty, disruption, and change coming from all directions. And in this context, what do you think is truly a stake for leaders as they navigate and guide their teams through these complex times? Because that's exactly what we are living right now.
It is. It's a time of lot of disruption and a lot of uncertainty. And there are headwinds that we're facing, that we're going into, and this change everywhere. And so more than ever, during times of uncertainty, change, and disruption, more than ever, we need good leadership, even great leadership, because we need to have a sense of direction and vision, even when there's uncertainty, to have a sense of confidence, trust that we can, that we are navigating this well, and that we know what we're trying to accomplish and to achieve, and that we're involving people in the process as part of the solution. And I like to say that great leadership is the most important of all the other disciplines or arts, because it elevates every other discipline or art and makes you better. So if we have great leadership, our ability to navigate change goes up. If we have great leadership, our ability to execute our strategy during difficult times also goes up. And if we have great leadership, our ability to build a high trust culture also increases. And that high trust culture enables us to collaborate and to innovate, but also to adapt and respond and pivot and change, that you can do better when there's trust. And the key to trust is that it's built through leaders who are modeling it. So especially because of the disruption and the uncertainty, more than ever before, we need great leadership at this time. It's always mattered, but it matters even more during a time of change and disruption.
I agree with you. And we usually think that because AI is getting us, maybe leaders can be replaced. And in a world with an increased use of technology and AI, how relevant it is to be a leader, and how can we understand that maybe leaders, or I don't know, it's going to be another question, but leaders cannot be replaced by AI or by technology.
Yeah. See, here's what I believe is that there might be certain aspects or dimensions of management responsibilities and roles that can be augmented, and in some cases replaced by AI. But there's other aspects and dimensions of the broader idea of leadership that cannot be replaced by AI, because, AI can do a lot of good things. It can automate processes, but it can't build culture. See, leaders build culture, not AI. AI can generate a lot of ideas, and that's a good thing. But AI can't inspire people. It is leaders who can inspire and breathe life into, if you will. And so AI, can process a lot of information, yes, but it can't create deep human connection. That's done person to person, leader to leader, and leaders to teammates throughout the organization. AI is very efficient and it produces efficiency, but it doesn't create meaning and purpose. And so I view it as, rather than see it as either or, I view it as what we really need today is a blended intelligence, human intelligence and artificial intelligence brought together, but with human intelligence in the lead, because there are unique human gifts and endowments that we have of conscience and independent will and judgment and connection and caring and empathy that are vital. And so if we view AI as a tool to help unleash human potential, then I think we're approaching it better, rather than saying, well, AI is just going to replace people. There might be some elements of a job that it does replace. There will be. And there might be some roles that it replaces, but the need for leadership, so, to inspire, to connect, and to create culture is going to continue and be vital. And so AI is a program, but people are programmers, and we need programmers. We need leaders to lead and to tap into the potential of what AI can help us do. So I call this blended intelligence, but with human intelligence in the lead.
It's we need the best from both worlds, and that's the magic that we have. Because, Stephen, we live in a world with a lot of technology that is in the middle of AI use. What do you think is the role of leadership in this world? And do you think that the results that we have today are due to the use of technology or the use of leadership?
Yeah. Well, it's a combination of both, clearly, because, and again, I like technology. We need technology. It's a very useful thing. It's helped increase productivity. But still, technology needs to be directed. It needs to be, you manage technology, but you lead people. So we really need both. And we need, we manage things. We lead people. So we manage technologies and strategies and structures and systems. But with people, leadership is what is important. People don't want to be managed, but people do want to be led. And they want to be trusted. And they want to be inspired. So it's not either or, it's and. It's just the context that matters. Manage things, lead people. And there's no question that technology helps us achieve better outcomes. But ultimately, still, it's the leadership choice and decision of where and how to utilize the technology, how to have the technology blend with human capabilities and endowments, and how to bring out the best in both. Leadership is still the enabling art, because it makes us better at everything else that we're trying to do. So I don't view it in dichotomies of, is it leadership or is it technology? Rather, I see it as that leadership learns how to utilize technology as a tool to both augment human performance, but also to help unleash human performance. And when we view it that way, it can help us actually achieve more. But I believe the leadership needs to be in the lead. It needs, the blended approach has humans in the lead because of what they distinctively bring: judgment and connection and caring and conscience and empathy and trust. And you can't replace that with technology. Again, technology can be vital, but it doesn't build that connection that is needed. We're people, and we respond to connection. We respond to caring. We respond to being trusted.
Thanks, Stephen. And I really love that we are talking about those characteristics that have to have a leader, and these attitudes that are important in a leader. And I would like to ask you about this. Of all the skills that a leader must have, study, or develop, or attitudes that a leader must show, which are the 2 or 3 most important for you?
Here's what I believe, Veronica, have become the most important skills, or even what we might call responsibilities of leaders today. I think there's 3 key ones that have emerged to the top. Here's the first: a leader who models the behavior that they would like to see. So if you have company values, as a leader, you model the values, you walk the talk, and you model both being humble and courageous at the same time. You model authenticity. You're real, and you're even appropriately vulnerable. You model empathy along with performance. See, modeling is all about your character and your competence. It's your credibility. And when the leader models the behaviors that they would like to see, others are inspired by that. They see it and they respond to it. They say, look at the leader. The leader is modeling and showing what it looks like. So if you want more respect, model the respect. You want more openness, more transparency in the culture, model the openness and the transparency that you would like to see. Someone needs to go first. The leader goes first, and they model the behavior that they would like to see. So that'd be the first responsibility of a leader, is to be a model of credibility, of trustworthiness, of character, of competence, of modeling the behavior that we would like to see, modeling the values that we stand for, that we have as an organization. That's the first, a leader who models. Here's the second, is a leader who trusts and extends trust to others. I call that trusting. See, in a sense, modeling is about being trustworthy. I'm a trustworthy leader. But the second skill and responsibility is that I'm also a trusting leader. I extend trust to people. I extend trust to people on my team. I empower. I delegate. I give responsibility. I'm trusting. And in doing that, I'm not just blindly doing it. I'm not just going around and just indiscriminately trusting anyone and everyone. No, I'm doing this in a smart way. I call it smart trust, where I'm building an agreement with the person with clear expectations around the desired results we're trying to achieve, and the guidelines we have to work within, and the resources we have to help us get there. I call that clarifying expectations. And then we agree to a process of accountability to those expectations. And that way, I'm truly empowering someone. They feel empowered. They feel trusted. Like, my leader trusts me. But as a leader, I've not lost control. But my control has shifted from me having to hover over and micromanage the person to, instead, I built the control into the agreement that we created together around the trust being given with expectations and accountability to that trust. And so suddenly people feel empowered and I still have control. People report back on how they're doing. Here's what the data shows, Veronica. When you are more trusting of people, 3 great things happen. First, people rise to the occasion and they perform better, a lot better. People like being trusted. It brings out the very best in people. Second, people grow. They develop new capabilities. They become more responsible, more capable, and they have greater growth. And that's exciting for them. They want to grow. But third, people, they reciprocate the trust. They give it back to you. When you trust people, they tend to trust you back. So they perform better, they grow, and they return the trust right back to you. All that because you are trusting as a leader. So that's the second key skill. So first, you're trustworthy. I call that modeling. Second, you're trusting. That's really how you're leading. You're leading through trust and the extension of trust. And here's the third one. It's a leader who inspires, inspiring others. And I believe that is not just something that we would like to see, but rather that's a responsibility we have as a leader, to inspire those about us. Inspire comes from the Latin term inspirare. It means to breathe life into. So as a leader, I'm trying to breathe life into relationships, into teams, into cultures. I'm trying to inspire those about me so that they want to do their best work. And they feel not just motivation through pay alone, that's important, but beyond that, they feel that they're developing, they're connecting. There's a sense of caring and belonging, and they're growing and developing. So their mind is developing, their heart is feeling connection, but also they have a sense of meaning and purpose and contribution. That inspires too. And here's the point. As leaders, we can all inspire. It's not tied to charisma. We often think charisma and inspiration are the same things. They're not. They're different things. Everyone can inspire. And it is a responsibility that we have as a leader to inspire those about us, around us. And how do we inspire? Well, when we model the behavior, we inspire people. When we're trustworthy. When we trust people, we'll inspire them. So the first 2 things that we do, modeling and trusting, will inspire people. But then when we add to it this, when we connect with people through a sense of caring and belonging, that inspires them. And then when we connect people to purpose and to meaning and to contribution, that inspires people. And suddenly we are an inspiring leader. And an inspiring leader brings out the very best in others. They want to perform better. They feel unleashed, and it's better for the business. They perform better. The research shows about 125% better when an employee is inspired than if they're just merely satisfied, but even 56% higher than when they're engaged. So there's even something beyond engagement. It's inspiration. So they perform better, but they're also happier. And they have greater energy, greater joy, greater well-being. So inspiring is good for the business. People perform better, and it's good for the people. They're happier. They have greater well-being. And so if we can do those 3 things, model, trust, and inspire, that is what leadership is about today.
I love it, Stephen. Thank you for all that information. In the first topic, you talk a little bit about vulnerability. Some leaders think that vulnerability can be seen as a weakness. What can you say to them?
Yes, I would say this, that it's actually an extraordinary strength. Again, it's always within parameters.
Yeah.
So it's not just complete unfettered vulnerability where someone would lose confidence because you go so far, because no, I'm not talking about that, but within parameters. Here's what the research shows, that if you're more open and real and relatable. And you do that by being vulnerable. I kind of just say, hey, I'm trying my best. I'm not arrived. I'm on the journey. People relate to that. And they respond to that versus when you try to pretend that you're there. There's an expression. I just was with a college and they have a motto. This is Lane College in Tennessee in the United States. And their motto is this. It's the Latin term that says to be rather than to seem. So we're not trying to seem and pretend and act like we're there. It's rather being. But that takes some vulnerability, that you're not trying to pretend. And that builds trust. I was recently with Dr. Leslie John at Harvard Business School, and she's doing research on the leader's dilemma. And she framed it this way. Do I reveal or do I conceal? Do I reveal? Do I conceal? Most leaders think I'm going to conceal and not kind of be open and vulnerable and show my weaknesses. And then that way people will have more confidence in me because they'll see me as a strong leader with no flaws. But then you're not being a relatable leader either. You're not being authentic. But instead, the leader that appropriately reveals and says, look, yeah, I'm still on the journey. I need help. I need your help to get there. That leader actually inspires more confidence. And so the leader that chooses to reveal inspires more confidence than the leader that conceals. So it's almost a paradigm shift because we often are thinking that to do this, we have to be, present ourselves as perfect. But no, what really people respond to is a leader who is authentic and even appropriately vulnerable. That builds trust better and faster because people relate to that leader and they can follow them.
Thanks for answering that, Stephen. Thank you very much. We have one last question for you. Oh, hi.
That's my grandson just walked into my office with two of his friends.
Oh.
And as soon as we're done with our interview, I'm taking them on a little date in the car. So,
oh, really?
And they jumped the gun.
Them.
They jumped the gun on me.
That's a good family leader. Well, thank you for introducing your grandson to us. We have one last question to you, Stephen, because we know that organizations need to change at a great speed because the world is changing at a great speed. In your experience, what becomes the foundation or the anchor that gives consistency to our organization, or what keeps it solid, what sustains the organization?
Yes, I'm going to say two things. First, in the midst of change, what grounds you is when you have a sense of changelessness. So you have a clear identity as who you are as an organization. And, you have values and you are true to those values. Your strategy might change because of all the disruption around you and technology. So you might change strategy, but in a sense, it's we also have a sense of changelessness. Here's who we are as people. Here's our values, and our values haven't changed. Our strategy might change, but to have a sense of changelessness helps us navigate a changing world. That's one, is a kind of deep roots as to who we are, the principles that we stand for, the values that we live by. That's changeless, even though strategies and structures and systems and organizations change all the time to stay relevant. Second, this is, I think, the key glue that keeps everything together is a culture of trust. When there's trust, then you can navigate change so well because you can move fast and you can be agile and adaptive and responsive because people trust each other. And so it enables you to move with greater speed. When people don't trust each other, everything slows down. Everything takes longer. There's questioning of agendas and motives and competencies and everything. And you don't move fast enough. You're not agile enough to adapt. But with trust, you move fast. See, speed happens when people trust each other, and nothing is as fast as the speed of trust. Let me try it in Spanish. Nada es tan rápido como la velocidad de la confianza. Nada. You move fast with trust. And so I think having a culture of trust is a huge advantage to navigate all this change, because with that trust, people will be open about it. They'll confront reality. They'll talk straight and say, look, we got to change. We got to make these moves because look at what's happening to us. When there's low trust, sometimes people are afraid to bring up the real issues because they don't know that people want to hear them. And they're afraid to talk straight, so they spin things. And they're afraid to kind of confront the realities and do the things that need to do. And then when there's low trust, you can't collaborate very well. When there's low trust, you don't innovate very well. And during times of change, we especially need greater collaboration, greater innovation to recreate ourselves, reinvent ourselves, to stay relevant. Trust is the foundation for all of that, for collaboration, for innovation. Trust is the foundation to engage our people and even to inspire our people. Trust is the foundation to build a high-performing team. Without trust, you're not a team. Without trust, you're just a group of individuals working on a project. It's trust that turns a group into a team. And you build a great culture that's adaptive and responsive and agile. So I think the foundation of an organization that needs to succeed today is to have a high trust culture that inspires your people. And then you can collaborate and innovate to stay relevant, but you'll also attract and retain and engage and inspire the best people and bring out the best in people through your leadership. And then when you add to that a sense of changelessness because we have principles and values as an organization, that's a powerful combination. So those are the things that are needed during a time of uncertainty, of change, of disruption. Let's have changelessness. Let's have a culture of trust. With that, we can adapt, respond, navigate, collaborate, innovate, and reinvent, recreate ourselves to stay relevant in this changing, disruptive world.
Thank you. Marvelous, Stephen. Thank you very much. We really love to hear you speak about leadership with such passionate soul. So thank you. Thank you very much. We are really glad to have you here, and we want to thank you for sharing all your insights, all your experience on leading with trust in this era of transformation. We are truly delighted to have you here in Guatemala, and we hope you can bring all your family to our country soon.
Thank you, Veronica. I enjoyed being with you. I'm excited to be there again in Guatemala and to have this conversation and to have these discussions and talk about this new world that we're operating in. It is a world of enormous change and disruption. And that's why leadership matters more than ever before, especially because of the disruption, and why a culture of trust matters more than ever before, especially because of the need to collaborate and innovate to stay relevant in times of change and disruption. And nothing helps you do that like trust.
Thank you. Thank you very much. These skills definitely are going to help us face this world today. So thank you very much, Stephen.
Thank you, Veronica. Great to be with you.
Ha sido un honor, un gusto, y hemos agradecido, por supuesto, a Stephen M.R. Covey por acompañarnos, el compartir esta visión sobre cómo liderar con confianza en esta era de la transformación. Nos alegra muchísimo el haberlo podido tener nuevamente a través de esta transmisión y en Guatemala, y que todos ustedes hayan podido por supuesto, aprender de la mano de uno de los principales líderes en el mundo sobre liderazgo. Así que, señoras y señores, muchas gracias por toda su participación. Hemos estado pendientes de las diferentes comunicaciones, comentarios que todos y cada uno de ustedes tuvieron en nuestra transmisión. En nombre de Banco Industrial, como siempre, les queremos dar un agradecimiento por estar pendientes, por estar en sintonía de invitados y ser parte de este espacio que continúa y continuará creciendo cada vez más gracias a que ustedes atienden a cada uno de nuestros llamados. Muchas gracias por habernos acompañado. Soy Verónica de León Regil y como siempre les digo, estén pendientes de las redes sociales de Banco Industrial para que nos enteremos de cuáles serán las próximas entrevistas que tendremos la oportunidad de presentarles. Este fue un espacio más de invitados.